Hi guys, welcome back to another reaction, and today I'll be taking the second part of aka Barbie. That name is Barbie. Yeah, that is a geographical description of Germany, and today I'll be doing a part that starts with demographics. That's level 3, demographics. Yeah, demographics, that means they are quite at they're accommodating. They have some kind of connection with other nations, other countries of the world, and so let's go check it out.
This is 3, not this. Now, if the EU was a family, Germany would kind of be like the dad who got out of rehab, reconciled with his wife and kids, and is taking his new life very seriously as he is haunted by the demons of his past every day. First of all, the country has about 82 million people and is the most populated in the EU, second most in Europe after Russia, and has the 4th largest nominal GDP in the world. About 80% of the country identifies as ethnically German, 12% other Europeans, mostly Polish, Italian, Dutch, and so on. Turks make up about 3.5%, Asians at 2%, and the rest are made up of other groups like Africans and Americans. Also, they use the euro, they use the C and F type outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Germany is without a doubt a global powerhouse. It is the strongest economy in the EU and makes up about 16% of the union's population. It's the 3rd largest exporter and importer of goods in the world. After the United States, Germany is also the 2nd most popular global migration destination. Germany experiences a high standard of living, tuition-free universities, accepted that is, a mostly government-subsidized universal healthcare system, about a quarter is still privatized, and state pension for retirement at age 65. Now when it comes to language, things get a little tricky. Each state kind of has their own type of German. However, to get by, most Germans learn like an ambulance, or High German, which is the standard dialect. The European Charter, however, protects the minority languages of Frisian, Danish, Romani, Sorbian, which is like a Slavic-based language used along the Czech-Polish border, and Plattdeutsch, or Low German, which has similarities to Dutch and is typically used by the Amish and Mennonite communities across the world. In terms of regional distinctions, though, Germany is kind of divided into 5 cultural areas: Rhineland, East and Mitteldeutschland, Norddeutschland, Baden-Württemberg, and Bavaria. Rhineland is on the west side and has a culture somewhat more influenced by France, more Catholics. Carnival celebrations are huge out here. East and Middle Germany was the part that used to be its own country for 40 years as it was influenced by the Soviets. Sorbians can also be found here too. Northern Germany has a coastal sea culture that identifies closer with Denmark and the Netherlands. They are also known for being kind of quiet and reserved. Baden-Württemberg has an interesting Swabian culture where they speak a dialect so thick that only about 40% of it is intelligible to other Germans. And then you have Bavaria, which is where the Americanized, perpetuated stereotypes about Germany came from, with Lederhosen, dirndls, half-timber, beer houses, and cuckoo clocks. For the record, Germans are sick of those stereotypes. It's like saying all Americans are cowboys with guns and horses. Speaking of stereotypes, some of the stereotypes in Germany include things like Saxons being very indecisive, Berliners are always bragging about themselves, Swabians are stingy, Bavarians drink too much, Hessians talk too much, Holsteiners don't talk enough, and so on. Words differ from regions too. For example, in High German, you would say Auf Wiedersehen, but in Bavarian, you would say Fiat die Gott. In Kölsch, you would say Tschüss, and in Rhineland, you might say Adios. And there's so many compound words that get really long and complicated, like Rindfleisch, Etikettierungs-, Überwachungsaufgaben, Übertragungsgesetz. This is because many words are mehrtudig, or ambiguous words, that are kind of elongated to give off an extensive meaning. Germans have very vivid imaginations and make up words for everything. Like my favorite word, Backpfeifengesicht. Not this time. By the way, for the record, this letter makes a double S sound. However, spelling errors have tried to decrease the usage of this letter in recent years, which has led to some protests. Germans also love dubbing everything from foreign media into German. Some like this, some don't, but either way, it's here to stay. About 60% of the country identifies at least nominally as Christians, split between Protestants and Catholics. Germany was even the birthplace of the Protestant Reformation, split from the Catholic Church by Martin Luther. Otherwise, the rest are mostly agnostic or irreligious, with a noticeable community of Muslims, mostly from the huge Turkish and Middle Eastern communities, at about 5%, as well as a few Jews, Buddhists, and Hindus rounding up the remainder 1%. To kind of get a feel of what it's like to be German, you kind of have to understand where they've come from. After World War II, they kind of had a lot of work to do. However, it wasn't until the mid-50s and early 60s that the Wirtschaftswunder, or economic wonder, happened, to which almost everybody got to work. Basically, this guy envisioned and implemented a social market economy combined with free market capitalism alongside socialist policies that established fair competition in a welfare state. GDP increased by 80%, investments by 120%, labor forces were utilized to the maximum. Things started to get better. In Germany, all children are corralled into general general public schools until age 10, when they are given the option to enroll in 3 different types of middle schools. Gymnasium, geared towards focusing on higher linguistic, mathematic, and science fields for universities. Realschule, a middle ground type of school. And Hauptschule, a school that is geared towards helping kids that seem to show promise in specific vocation or trades. Germany also has the largest music market in the EU and the 3rd in the world after the US and Japan. They love preserving their heritage and culture through music and art. In fact, there are around 130 national orchestras, mostly supported by public money, and artists get a 50% reduction in health insurance through a special type of offer in the legal system. One thing that still kind of supposedly maintains itself in Germany is the mindset of Vergangenheitsbewältigung. Totally butchered that, which kind of translates to a lingering sense of guilt from the past. Germans have reportedly some of the lowest levels of national pride, and unless if you're at a soccer game, chances are you will almost never see anyone holding a German flag or waving it in any kind of like patriotic setting. It's weird, but it's kind of how things are.
You monster!
They've made great strides to move on from the past. Nazi flags and Mein Kampf are incredibly illegal items to own in Germany, and they even have a rule, the Volksverhetzung, which basically says you cannot talk trash by denying the past atrocities. Some people say this infringes on free speech, others say it's good because it solidifies truth. Otherwise, some notable Germans throughout history include Charlemagne, although he was a Frank, but I guess it kind of counts. Albrecht, Dürer, David Friedrich, Gutenberg, Bach, Beethoven, Karl Benz, Albert Einstein, although Americans would like to claim that he moved to the US and became an American. Johannes Kepler, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Friedrich Schiller, Michael Schumacher, Alex von Humboldt.
I thought he was
Karl
from
Marx
America.
and Friedrich Engels co-founded Marxism.
Wonderful.
One thing Germans do best would have to be diplomacy. To this day, the German passport holds the most visa-free nations out of any other country in the world, just beating Sweden. Therefore, you can kind of conclude that Germany kind of knows how to relate.
Beautiful,
Let's find out how in the final round, level 4.
Okay.
Germany knows how to make friends. They have over 220 diplomatic missions abroad and over 350 honorary consuls and have an incredibly high position of authority in the EU. Their closest African friend would probably be Namibia. As a former German colony way back in the 19th century, Namibia held on relations, and to this day, German is still a recognized language in Namibia. Germans have been supporting and sharing ties both economically and ideologically for over a century. India and South Korea are really close friends in Asia. India supported both East and West Germany during the Cold War, and after reunification, they were like, even better! And Germany is to South Korea what Japan is to France. They love to piggyback off of each other's ideas and cultures, especially in the automotive industry. Many South Koreans were sent to Germany after the Korean War to work abroad and study, and Germans have been growing in fascination with visiting South Korea. The US is probably the closest ally outside of the EU. About 30% of Americans claim German heritage, and after World War II, the Marshall Plan allowed the US to give post-war aid to Germany, which helped kickstart the economic recovery. Germany was a key figure in the formation of the State of Israel after World War II, which after the Holocaust left an obligation to invest in the building up of a Jewish community. Turkey is probably the closest Middle Eastern ally, as the Turks make up the largest Asian demographic in Germany, although many of them may or may not also identify as Kurds. But since Kurds don't have a state of their own, they usually go under Turkish passports when immigrating and are documented as such. Their best friends, however, would probably be literally all their neighbors. The thing is, Germany is kind of like Bosnia and Herzegovina, in which, by default, they kind of get friends based off of the regional alliances. Bavarians get along with Austrians, Baden-Württembergs get along with Switzerland, East Germany has good relations with the Slavic countries, the Rhine states love Belgium, Luxembourg, and France, and the north side loves the Netherlands and Denmark. France, though, is kind of like the trophy wife of Germany, as the two have had an angry start, but then eventually fell in love and worked together beautifully. France is like the beautiful, flashy spokesperson for the EU that stands in the spotlight as Germany stands in the background, managing all the money and logistical work. In conclusion, although Germanic peoples have existed for thousands of years, an actual unified German state didn't appear until kind of recently, and the brief time that they've been around, they've kind of gone through some of the most intense, world-revolutionizing historical events possibly imagined. Yet, they've come out working hard and building their way up to become a world superpower. You gotta give it to them. There's something about the Germans. And with that, final boss level complete. Stay tuned. Another African state Germany has ties to, Ghana, is coming up next.
Oh, can't wait for that. Haha, this guy is good. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is good, like really good. I think I'm so impressed by Paul because his body movement actually goes with all descriptions. For the beginning of the second level, but which is actually the third level, he says something about Germany being like the dad who just came out of a rehab center. What does that mean? It shows that he just came out of trouble, maybe something that had destroyed his family. I mean, maybe it has taken his family away from like an addiction, like a problem that wasn't a nice one. Yeah, and then he's trying to play it cool, like being responsible, and he doesn't want to go back there, but his past demons are haunting him. But you see, he won't just remain calm, focused, and be responsible. He's a changed man, a man that just like, let's say an ex-inmate. He described Germany to be like that, but the man has really done well. And when such man do well, he goes back right where he begins, and he sure knows the implication of negativity, yeah. I think German has learned lesson, and they have come to this highest peak. And then he said something also that the most interesting part of it that I wish is with German's passport you can travel to most of the European countries. Can you believe that? My goodness, this is amazing. They have really built themselves to this point whereby, I don't want to say I wish my country is like that, though I am blessed what I have and I'm grateful, but I pray that we'll step up more as a country to reach up to the level which Germans are operating right now. Yeah, and then he said something about Germany's having this pride. You won't see Germans raising their flags and flying all over whenever they are watching a football or something. Yeah, I believe something I noticed about Germans, or observe about Germans, is that they are very straightforward. I believe they don't lie, they don't beat around the bush. For such people, they are very plain, they don't lie. I think that is where their perfection comes from. My friend was told me that Germany is the most organized country in the world, and it's true. They can be clean, organized. So I think that also came from the inside. Yeah, for them to be like that. Yeah, so I mean, they're not raising their flag. It's not because they don't appreciate the efforts of their players, any of them. I believe they're just people that are conserved, but intelligently conserved. I think I love Germans. They're intelligent, see, whatever that comes from Germany is durable. I'm not trying to say German or Germany, but they really deserve that because we've worked really, really hard. This guy is good. I think he must have maybe BSc in geographic or something, because he really went in depth to the history of each country to bring such thing out, and they are very interesting, really, really interesting and knowledgeable. No, like, I'm really impressed. I mean, he said so many things in this discovery that are really impressive. I think you should go through it. You will love it. It will really help you to. There are so many things that are all my Germans that I don't even know. Can you imagine, like Adidas, like Puma? I mean, that guy that was like slapping him and they're punching. I don't know who is that. Who? What does that one? Who? I mean, what does he represent? I think he represents something there. It's actually very funny and very interesting. Yeah, I think I'm elongating this, but I am so impressed by this. Like, I love it. I will react to more of Paul, aka Barbie, more of his content. Yeah, so there's something also said that I love that I would like to point. I said that France are like the wife of the German, kind of, they just stay in the spotlight. Why Germans stay behind the scene and manage the income, the cash flow that comes in. Germans, you're highly intelligent, and I love Germany. I love Germany. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying by till now to the end of the reaction. I hope that you subscribe to my channel and to get more of BARBY in my channel, from my channel, and also like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel, and also turn on the notification button to get notification each time I react to BARBY. Yeah, I'm gonna see you in the next reaction. Stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay focused. Bye bye.